Meet Gilde Jetson. His boy Leeroy.
Go ahead, read on, Marjorie.
Mr. Gildersleeve gained his college education at Princeton, where he was a member of the class of 14. He was one of Princeton's star athletes and musicians, and was selected by his classmates as student most likely to weigh 200 pounds in 10 years.
Oh, yes, dear old Princeton. Incidentally, Marjorie, do you like the picture of me the newspaper printed?
Oh, yes, Uncle. You look positively handsome.
Handsome? Oh, no. What do you think of it, Bertie?
Just like one of them movie stars, only you got a pretty mustache and he ain't.
Oh, is that so? Which star do you mean? Ronald Coleman?
No.
No? Are you positive?
Well, definitely.
Oh.
Tyrone Power?
No.
Clark Gable? Frederick March? Robert Taylor?
No.
Cary Grant? Victor Mature?
That's it. Now I remember.
Who? Victor Mature?
No, sir. Costello of Abbott and Costello. Now, if he only had a mustache like yours.
Yeah, excuse me. I'll get it.
Oh, Leeroy, go comb your hair. We're having a guest for dinner.
Jeepers, every time we have somebody for dinner, I gotta comb my hair. Who is it, Uncle Mort?
Well, I can't quite remember, my boy. There were 2 Bobby Browns in my class at Princeton, and I don't know which one this is.
Gee, when you were at Princeton, I bet you were the big noise around the campus, Unc.
No, my boy. I didn't go out for cheerleader.
He was more athletic type.
Yeah.
He was? What did you star in, Unc? Football?
No, my boy. I was associated with the water polo team.
Gee, how do you play that?
Well, water polo is a sort of a soggy version of soccer. The team whose pole motor breaks down first is declared the loser.
And what position did you play, Unc?
Well, I had a very important position. I was the assistant business manager. Oh, great jumping jeeps. That must be him already. I'll answer it. Where did he phone from? The corner drugstore?
Well, Gildy, you old coot, how's the kid?
Oh, oh, you mean me. Well, I'm just Brown, Dandy. I'm Dandy Brown. Come on in, won't you?
Oh, sure. Hey, cabby, just throw my luggage up on the porch. Well, Frosty, it's great to see you.
Yes, isn't it?
How are you, old rascal? You know you haven't changed a ton.
I haven't?
No, sir.
I wish I could say the same about you, Brownie, old fellow. Come on in and meet the family. This is Leeroy,
Well, Leeroy, you're certainly the image of your old man, aren't you?
Leeroy happens to be my nephew.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course.
And this is Marjorie.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Brown?
Why, Gildy, you old reprobate. Congratulations, what a beautiful young wife.
Marjorie is my niece.
Your niece? Oh, yes, of course. Well, I was just kidding. Don't mind me, folks.
Dinner, sir.
Oh, yes. And this is Bertie.
Yeah, I know. Your maid.
Absolutely correct. Have a cigar, Mr. Brown.
And then a voice from the coop replied, "No, sir, there ain't nobody here except a chicken."
You ain't the funniest name, Mr. Brown.
Oh, brother, what a memory.
I'll be right back with a tray full of breakfast, Mr. Brown. Mr. Gildersleeve, your friend sure is pleasant company.
Yes, pleasant and permanent. He's been here 3 days already. Bertie, did he give you any hint as to when he's leaving?
Well, he did discuss plans for a picnic 4th of July. Now I got to fix him a nice poached egg for his breakfast.
George, I'd like to fix him a nice poached Mickey.
Hey, Uncle Mort, is Uncle Bob up yet?
Uncle Bob, Leeroy, Mr. Brown is not your Uncle Bob.
I know, but he's such a swell guy. And he hasn't any nephews of his own, so I sort of adopted him. Oh, Uncle Bob, is there something I can get for you?
That guy gets more service around here than a cop in a kitchen. Nobody ever feeds me poached eggs in bed.
Oh,
What is it, Leeroy?
Uncle Bob asked me to tell you that he'll be ready to leave right after breakfast.
Oh, he will? Splendid. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, can you have the car all ready then?
Oh, with the doors open and the motor running.
Good. He wants you to take him out for a long drive in the country.
I should have known.
You can stop here, Gildersleeve. This is Hickory Hills, isn't it?
Yes, during the last war, Camp Hickory was located here. I remember the rifle range was right over there. Hickory was one of the biggest training camps.
Well, we've got bigger plans for it this time.
We have?
Oh, not you, my associates and I.
Hey, you know, Gildy, I haven't discussed my reason for being in Summerfield.
Oh, there was a reason.
Oh, yes, and it's very confidential. You see those hills?
Yes.
Well, our mining engineers report that they contain one of the richest deposits of manganese in the country.
Manganese?
Not so loud. Yes, you know what it is, of course.
Oh, it's a very valuable mineral. It's used to toughen steel.
Right. It's in great demand now for war production.
You mean someone's finally found something of value in them bare hills?
Gildersleeve, there's millions in them there bare hills.
Millions. Brownie, old pal.
Yes, Gildy?
Suppose we were to snoop around and find out who owns this land. Don't you think we could pick it up pretty cheap?
No, I'm afraid the owner wants a pretty stiff price, Gildy.
Oh, you know who it is.
I'll say I do.
Look here, Brownie, little chum. After all, we were schoolmates together at Princeton. Do you mind telling me the owner's name?
Not at all, old kid.
Good. Then who is it?
It's me.
Well, hello, Leeroy, my boy. Are you waiting to see me?
Yeah, Unc. I sort of stumbled into something by accident this afternoon, and it's got me worried.
What is it, my boy?
This, I found it up in the attic.
Why, that's my old college yearbook. Say, wait till I show this to Bob Brown. He'll get a terrific kick when he reads it.
No, Unc, you'll give him a terrific kick when you read it.
Leroy, why should I kick Uncle Bob?
Because he isn't Uncle Bob. He's an impostorator.
He's an impersonator? What do you mean?
Look, this book's got pictures of your whole class, including the 2 Bob Browns who graduated with you.
Yes?
And one of them was bald, so that couldn't be him.
I remember now. Baldy Brown. He finally graduated. But couldn't Brownie here have been the other one?
No, look, the other one was an Indian. Do you think he scalped the first one?
Leroy, why couldn't you found all this out just a few hours earlier?
Why, Uncle Morris?
Because this humbug just took me out and showed me a reasonable facsimile of a manganese mine.
See, he's a fakeroo, probably looking for a sucker.
No, my boy, he isn't looking anymore. He just sold me a half interest in his manganese mine.
Mr. Gildersleeve. It was a most charming dinner, and I think that Mr. Brown is most charming, too.
Oh, yes, Miss Callahan. That fellow could charm a snake out of its skin. At present company accepted, of course.
Oh, he's led such an adventurous life. I understand that he was once an aviator.
You're right, sort of a fly-by-night. However, I have hopes that the government's going to step in and ground him for the duration.
And then the judge turned to the prisoner and said, you may be deaf now, but you'll get your hearing in the morning.
Oh, for corn's sake.
Leroy, I don't blame you. I'd like to talk to you in a moment, too. Excuse us, won't you, Miss Callahan?
Oh, yes, of course, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah.
Yes, Unc, what is it?
Leroy, do you want that Brown chap to get wise that we suspect him?
Gee, no, Unc.
Then put away that junior G-man fingerprinting outfit.
But how else can I trap him?
Look, I'm going to call in a mining engineer the first thing in the morning. We've got to be sure where we're stepping before we put our foot into it.
Well, what do we do now?
Well, just keep our eyes open and pretend we're completely ignorant. From the way I let myself get swindled, I won't have to do much pretending either.
Unc, here comes Judge Hooker.
Yeah, what is that, old hippo? Oh, Judge Hooker, how's things?
Say, Gildersleeve, I must admit that I was completely taken by your friend Brown.
Uncle Mort was taken, too.
Leroy, go away someplace and pass the after-dinner mints.
Okay, Unc. Maybe I can get some prints that way.
Prints?
I was just thinking, Gildy, how nice it is to renew old friendships.
Yes, very nice indeed.
You know, I'd rather have an old friend than $1 million, wouldn't you?
Well, I suppose so. Although there seems to be some rule that you can't have both of them at the same time.
Oh, now, Gildy, you mustn't be so hard-bitten.
I can't help it. It's because I've bitten so hard. Judge, there's something I better tell you, and quickly.
Hey, Unc, Mr. Brown just left with Miss Callahan. He's taken her for a ride to the magnesia mine.
What? Oh, the manganese mine.
Yeah, he's got her interested, too.
By George, I've got to stop him before she does anything rash. Come on, Judge. Maybe you can help.
Here, Unc, maybe this'll help.
No, Leeroy, I've told you before. I don't want that fingerprint outfit. Rosita! Oh, Rosita!
What? Oh, my, Mr. Gildersleeve and Judge Hooker.
Hey, what are you two doing here?
Rosita, I must speak to you alone. Judge, you take care of Brownie.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, this has been the most delightful night. Now, what do you want with little me?
Well, excuse me for asking, Rosita, but why did Bob Brown bring you out here?
Well, I thought I had an idea, but I was wrong. He wanted me to buy a quarter interest in some perfectly wonderful mining property.
Oh, my. And did you?
Well, it was like this. The moon was so beautiful, and he was so persuasive, and I'm so impulsive, I just couldn't say no.
Oh, I never should have introduced you to.
Gildersleeve.
Yes, what is it, Judge?
Gildersleeve, the most wonderful thing has just happened to me. You'll never guess. I bought a quarter interest in a manganese mine.
Bertie, you let me know just as soon as this Mr. Conley, the expert, shows up. There may be a remote possibility that there actually is a manganese in those hills.
Yes, Mr. Gildersleeve, I sure hope so.
Now, don't take it so hard, Bertie. After all, you didn't lose any money.
Yes, I did, too. All my building and loans is gone.
What?
And that Mr. Brown has such an honest face.
Why, Bertie, how could you be so gullible?
Oh, I guess it just runs in the family, Mr. Gildersleeve. I takes after you.
Well, I'd like to lay my hands on that crook.
Now, me, I just like to cook for him.
You'd like to cook for him, Bertie?
Yes, sir. I just like to cook for him one day, that's all.
Gildersleeve, are you home?
There's Judge Hooker, bellowing like a hooked bull. I'm in here, Judge.
Come on, Miss Callahan.
Well, Mr. Gildersleeve, you certainly have fine friends who cheat a poor, innocent girl.
What poor innocent girl? What's her name? Oh, you. Well, I'm terribly sorry about the whole thing, Rosita.
Well, you'll be a lot sorrier when I file a lawsuit against you.
What?
Judge Hooker, I'd like to sue him in your court. Can I make an appointment now?
In his court? But Miss Callahan, Rosita, you know I tried to stop you.
I'm getting Mr. Gildersleeve.
Folks, that's probably the mining expert I hired. We might as well hear the sad news.
Here's that Mr. Conley you've been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, Conley, is there any manganese in Hickory Hills?
Now, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Does that mean I get my $500 back?
No, Bertie. It means that we're all sunk.
Very well, Mr. Gildersleeve. You shall hear from my lawyers.
Gildersleeve, never speak to me again.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry if I've upset you folks. By the way, I stumbled across a curious thing up there. It might interest you. You know where the Camp Hickory rifle range used to be during the last war, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Oh, yes. It's on my property. Well, what about it?
Well, the hills in back are just chock full of bullets. Must be 2,000 or 3,000 ton of pure lead just waiting to be dug up.
You what?
Does that mean we're going to make a profit after all?
Sure, Judge. Come on. All we got to do is get the lead out.
It's wonderful.
Yes, Marjorie. And here's some more good news. In order to dig those bullets out, we've got to level off those hills. which means they'll make dandy building lots after we finished. More profit.
Gee, Unc, you're a regular financial gizzard.
Yes. Leeroy, my boy, that's the wrong word.
Oh, my mistake, Unc. You're a regular financial blizzard.
Let it go. Let it go. Good night, folks.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time for the further adventures of the great Gildersleeve.